Alright, so for the Chapter 1 study guide, number 1, we're doing order of operations. So you're going to start doing your 6 plus 3, which is equal to 9. And then you'll do 9 divided by 3 to get this 3 right here. Okay, bringing the rest of it down. Then apply your exponent, which is 4 squared, gives you 16. Then you have 12 minus 18 from the 6 times 3. Minus 16 gives you negative 22. Okay, for number 2, we're going to do 7 minus 2 to get 5. And then I went ahead and did my 1 minus 2 to get negative 1. So then we did 5 squared is 25 minus 2, times 2 to give us this 50 right here. Right, and then we have 50, and then I applied my 2 squared to get a 4. So then I have 50 over 25 is 2. Bring down my minus 6, and then 4 times negative 1 gave me negative 4. And then we did 2. Minus 6 minus 4 to get negative 8. Okay, then number 3. So you're going to reduce your 5 over 10. Then you subtract your exponents. So that gives you 1 over 2, and then we get x to the negative 2, y to the third, z to the negative 2. And remember, with negative exponents, we bring them down and make them positive. So our final answer here is y to the third times 2 x squared z squared. Number 4, we multiply this exponent in since it's outside the parentheses. So we get k to the 20th, m to the 28th, n to the negative 12. And again, that n to the negative 12 has to move to the denominator and become positive. For number 5, anything to the 0 power is equal to 1. Number 6, we're multiplying, so 8 times 4 gives us 32, and then we add our exponents. So we get a to the 8th, b to the 6th, and c to the 6th, right? Because this has an exponent of 1. Okay, so for number 7, right, we're combining like terms. So g squared plus 4g is 5g squared. 32g minus 23g is 9g. Negative 4 and 11 is 7. For number 8, remember when you're subtracting, you have to change the signs of your second polynomial, which is what I've done here, to give us positive 3, negative 23, positive 16. Then combine like terms to get 18k squared minus 74k minus 18. Number 9, we're applying the distributive property, so we're multiplying 3x to each term. So that gives us 6x to the third minus 15x squared plus 93x. Number 10, we're using FOIL, so we're going to do the first two, giving us 3m squared. Outside gives us 8m. Inside gives us negative 36m. Outside gives us negative 96. Combine the two terms in the middle to get a final answer of 3m squared minus 28m minus 96. For number 11, again, we're doing just a long distributive property. So we're going to take our first term of 2x, multiply it to each one of these, giving us 2x to the third minus plus 8x squared minus 28x. And then we're going to take 1, multiply it by each of these, giving us x squared plus 4x minus 14. Then I cross out terms as I combine them together, giving me 2x to the third plus 9x squared minus 24x minus 14. Okay, number 12, you get, we're doing the same process as the last one, we're just applying each of our 3 terms. So we get y to the fourth minus 2y to the third plus 6y squared when we multiply y squared by this polynomial. Then we get 12y to the third minus 24y squared plus 72y when we do our 12y. Then minus 3y squared plus 6y minus 18. Combine like terms to get this answer here. Number 13, we are dividing each term by 7g squared k. So that gives us 6, g to the 7th, k to the 4th. Remember to subtract your exponents to get these. Then negative 4, g to the 5th, k squared. And then negative 2, and then our g squared k cancels out here, so there's only a negative 2. Okay, for number 14, you're going to take x to the third divided by x to get this x squared. Take x squared, multiply it by both parts to get x to the third plus 4x squared. We subtract that to get these to cancel. And then you have x squared minus 4x squared is negative 3x squared. Bring down the 22. Then you're going to take negative 3x squared, divide it by x to get negative 3x. Multiply negative 3x by x plus 4 to get negative 3x squared minus 12x. Then remember that we are subtracting this. So negative 22 minus negative 12 is like saying negative 22 plus 12. So that gives us negative 10x. We brought down our 40. Right, negative 10x divided by x is negative 10. Multiply there, which gives us a remainder of 0. So x squared minus 3x minus 10 is our final answer. Okay, so for this one, again, I'm taking 24x to the 4th, dividing by 6x, negative of both of those. To get positive 4x to the 3rd, then we multiply that by our negative 6x plus 9, which in this case is going to make these two things cancel. When that happens, all you need to do is go ahead and bring down the next two terms instead. Right, and then in that case, we're going to just ignore our 0, and then we're going to divide our negative 36x squared by our negative 6x. So that's going to give us a plus 6x, which we then multiply, which gives us negative 36x squared plus 54x, and we are subtracting that. So those cancel. 96 minus 54 gives us 42x. Bring down our minus 63. 42x divided by negative 6x is negative 7. Then we multiply. Again, getting no remainder. All right, for 16, we're looking for the biggest thing we can divide out of each of these, which is 3xy. Then we divide each term by that, getting x to the 5th minus 12x squared plus 20x minus 11. 17, same process. Each of these is divisible by 12. Each of them has at least 2 d's, so that's why we take out a d squared, and each of them has at least one f, so we can also take out an f, leaving us with 4d squared f minus 5d plus 3k. Difference of squares is when you take the square root of each term, and you have your two sets of parentheses, and then you have the square root of 9x squared is 3x and 3x. Square root of 25 is 5 and 5, and then we always have 1 plus and 1 minus. So for number 19, right, square root of 16h squared is 4h and 4h, 81 is 9 and 9, and then a plus and minus. All right, number 20, we're looking for our factors of 30, which are going to equal 1. So we have 1, 30, 2, 15, 5, and 6. We need one of each sign because of this negative. So we have k plus 6, k minus 5. All right, 21, factors of 44 to give us negative 15 is going to be negative 4 and negative 11. So we have g minus 4, g minus 11. And 22, we will take 3 times 4 to get 12. Factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And we're looking for ones that will have two different signs because of this negative and add up to negative 11, which is positive 1, negative 12. So we take those and replace our 11x with that, writing it as 3x squared plus 1x minus 12x minus 4. Then we group our first two, group our second two, and then look for our greatest common factor from each group. So from the first group, that was x, and then when we divide out that x, we're left with 3x plus 1. From this group, we take out a negative 4, also leaving us with 3x plus 1. So then our final answer is x minus 4 from this right here, and then a 3x plus 1. 23, if you pull out a greatest common factor of 4 first, right, because 4, 24, and 20 are all divisible by 4, leaving you with y squared minus 6yz plus 5z squared. So then we're looking for factors of 5 that give us 6, which is negative 1 and negative 5. And then because the z squared's on the end, you just have to stick a z with each one of those. And make sure that since you pulled out the greatest common factor of 4, you leave it out front. Okay, for 24, we're multiplying 15 and 6 to get 90, right? Factors of 90. We're looking for two different signs to get a positive 13, which ends up being negative 5 and 18. So we replace our 13 with negative 5 and 18. Then we do factoring by grouping, pulling out greatest common factors of 5x and 6y, leaving us with 3x minus y in each one of these, making our final answer 5x plus 6y and 3x minus y. 25, we're just doing the grouping part, so just like we do from this point forward. So two groups, right? Greatest common factor from the first one's 3x squared. Divide that out to get x plus 2. Divide out of 4 here to get x plus 2. Final answer is 3x squared minus 4 times x plus 2. And finally, 26, grouping again. We can pull out 10y squared from the first one, leaving us with 3y minus 1. Then a minus 3 from this group, leaving us 3y minus 1, making our final answer 10y squared minus 3 times 3y minus 1.